My name is Edward. Where you have come as human beings along your path, from perhaps 2016 years ago, marked by the transition of one of your prophets. That is how your calendar currently is used. That you are marking time past since a certain individual, in this case the Christ, or the Christ consciousness, ascended, transcended, descended, then ascended, to share with you some teachings and a way of living. And so it was so impactful to certain cultures on the planet that a calendar that would ultimately become perhaps a standard of date and times, months and years, for all of you to agree upon. While you have your various New Years of different cultures, there is the Chinese New Year and so on and so forth for different cultures, they are timing their place in time differently than those who believe it is 2016. Whether it is the year 800 for some or the year 10,000 for others, who knows the truth? Is this time period marking the duration of how long the planet has been around? Not at all. For you do not know how old the planet is. You have your theories. Your scientists have their theories, much as the scientists of the day had their theories that the world was flat. According to all of their observations, the world indeed was flat, till they had a higher perspective. They did not discover that the world was not flat through flying machines. They discovered that the world was not flat by going there. And as they went there, explored, navigated, some got lost and discovered other areas, you know the stories. They began to understand through the movement of the celestial bodies that perhaps this theory of it being flat is not exactly correct. Mind you, there were other cultures on the planet that already knew the world was not flat. And so, everyone was moving according to their own pace and their own direct experience in order to believe something. Simply put, many of you say, seeing is believing. I must experience it myself to believe it. And so you have some people on the planet who have seen very interesting ships in the sky. Many who would never believe the story coming from another person had they themselves not experienced it. Luckily and fortunately, you are not basing your world and your worldview on what others have told you to be true. Or we should say, we hope you are not. For currently, and usually this is the process in any election year, that those who are running for election and the many who support them have very different views on what this country and therefore the world needs. And this evening is not a political discussion, though it is a very interesting and exciting topic for many currently. We will only reference what is happening politically to reference and circle back again to what is happening personally inside of yourself. In every recent, certainly, election in your particular country here, you are seeing the result of many, many influences, opportunities, some that were spontaneous and some which were created for certain individuals to ascend to that position. And whether you ascribe to the political situation or not, simply put, whether you care about it or not, matters not. for you can observe it from a higher perspective. But to observe it from a higher perspective, you must take a leap. You must climb somewhere for a higher perspective, for it to be authentic for you, for someone to convince you that something else is going on. You must have some proof for yourself, or some logic that seems to ring true if you were to put two and two together. But how would you explain these devices to someone who was born 200 years ago? How would you explain to someone that there is a signal emanating from this piece of iron, for they did not know what plastic was? How would you explain to someone from 200 years ago, which wasn't that very long ago, that there is an invisible beam of light that is traveling for miles above the stratosphere, connecting to another piece of iron that is flying independently around the earth, while speaking to another piece of iron in another country? And that is how you are able to speak to your friend in the East. How would you explain that to that person? That person is an intelligent person, educated with their own information from that time period. You would expect them to believe that there is something emanating from this. They cannot even believe you have constructed this, let alone that it is speaking. It would seem as if it was voodoo or witchcraft to them. Magic. And certainly, inside of their being, it can only be magic, for they could never imagine that such a device could exist within a relative short period of time from their own existence. As difficult, perhaps, as it would be to believe that there are consciousnesses, intelligences, that are speaking through many of you, or this gentleman here. When you tune yourself to a frequency, then you are able to hear it. But how do you tune yourself to a frequency? Those who are musicians here this evening, or artists who understand the certain pigment of red that is necessary, the certain tonality of a color that is necessary for a work of art, or perhaps the exact frequency of an instrument to be tuned to that exact note that they hear in their heads. That is how you are creating your life, for there is an ideal life that you wish to live. You can almost feel it at times. And when you can almost feel it, or when you do feel it, there is a good feeling that emanates through your bodies. There is an energy that even for a brief moment makes you feel as if you already have these things. But since you have never had them, how is it possible that you feel as if you do have them, if even for a brief moment? Is it your imagination? Well, then comes the question. Is what you imagine something that has not happened yet? And if it has not happened yet, how is it possible for you to feel that thing? Well, perhaps here is the magic of your life. You are creating your reality as you go. What is your reality? How you feel is your reality. That is the only reality that shall ever be a reality. For have you not been upset while at a celebration? Have you not been cheerful while, perhaps maybe even at a funeral? Or a somber occasion? See, your internal environment is your reality. And so no matter what is occurring around you, even at this very moment you are creating a climate within you. You do not feel you are creating it. You feel you are experiencing something which is then creating it within you. It is just a matter of belief. For some of you, if you were to suddenly receive a message on your phone that you've inherited tax-free $5 million, either this experience will be very enjoyable, or you may excuse yourself and go dancing, or the questions that you had earlier that you will ask Mr. Red Eagle in a moment will no longer be necessary, for something has been satisfied within you. Perhaps your achy back no longer aches you because you have some security that you have placed your faith in. Oh, there will be many who will sleep better. Many insomniacs will sleep better if Mr. Trump wins, or if Mrs. Clinton wins. Many who have had aches and pains, if their candidate wins, they will no longer have those aches and pains, for all of their beliefs are, and their bets are on them to create the happiness and security for them. Is that how you want to live? You are your own presidents. You create your own health care packages with how you treat yourself. If things are too expensive, make more money. If things are too expensive, make more money. Make more money. Is that a problem? Are your talents not worth more? Is it only for others? If you are surrendered to the massiveness of what you are, your talents, your ability, your love, then you need not worry about money. When you are playing small while actually being big, pretending to be small, convincing yourself that you are, meanwhile, behind that you believe you are big, what a confusing paradox you have created for yourself. Notice that in this paradox you are blaming others or environment rather than the person who is controlling your climate inside of you. You chose everything here. You chose those hands, those feet, those legs, that gender, that ethnicity, those parents, or lack thereof. You say, but who would ever choose such a thing? You, that's who. You chose it so you could be who you are. Because of everything and in spite of anything. Is that too empowering for you? Or do you wish to feel that you are stuck due to someone else's mistakes or some curse of God? For that, my friends, will play out again and again in all situations. And the reason you do not choose this belief over and over again is because somewhere along the line you have misconstrued this way of thinking to make yourself perhaps feel that you are alone in the world. For you cannot rely on anyone. Even the spirits are saying that you are on your own. That is how you are interpreting it. Rather than someone is saying the keys to the kingdom are in your pocket. That is where the keys are. Then you may say, oh, but I want to accomplish this. That requires others. Do you mean to say you wish to accomplish happiness? Is that what it is? That you wish to accomplish peace and happiness, and that is up to others? Or is it a task, or a career, or a person you wish to possess, or a thing? All of them are wonderful, nothing is wrong with having and experiencing those things in your life. But certainly you are to be a slave no more to this. That is where you are. If you do not feel that is where you are, then that is not where you are. If you feel you are in some other place, then you are in some other place. You see, again, no matter what we say to you, you are controlling the climate in there. We have no say in it, though we will say much regarding it. At some point, you will not have a price. You will do things because it is what you are. And so this election is a wonderful drama being played out, no matter whom you vote for. For notice that the polarities in this election are very clear. There is a great deal of strong emotions for or against. And then there's a great deal of people who feel who is the lesser of the two evils. What is it to you? You are not in any danger of living in some strange regime with a dictator. That is because your country is more of a corporation. You do not need to let that hurt you. It is run this way. It is not what it was many years ago, and you need not long for it. It will find its own way with you doing exactly as you dream to do. Notice that it doesn't feel good for anyone. Even while you are perhaps rooting for your team, notice it does not feel good, for much of it has to do with the other losing and you winning. There is no joy in it. You are waiting for it to be over in a week or two. Why are you choosing things that have no joy from any perspective? You have grown accustomed to living with the lack of joy. May you end it for yourself and be free, as was the original notion of those who founded this land.